Okay, what's good, everyone? I got a bit of a different video than what I usually upload. I know it's not a sort of travel vlog, but boy hasn't traveled in a long time, so we'll be doing some car installation videos. Today I've got a headliner removal and suede upholstery, my apologies, installation, as well as a Starlight headliner kit that I'll be doing another video on. So I got a kit with around 450 stars, I believe, and the sort of meteor shower thing. So that'll be fun. But today's video will just be focused on the removal and suede upholstery installation. I've always wanted to do these installation videos, mainly for two reasons. One being if I need to refer back to any sort of work I've done myself. I had actually done a gallery gasket replacement and a whole bunch of maintenance work with the primary and secondary timing tensioners, and I wish I did a whole video breaking that down and the whole process of that, because I'm sure that would have been super helpful for everyone else, but unfortunately I didn't. So now it's kind of motivating me to do that, and that leads to the sort of second fact that if anyone else wants to see these sort of installation videos so that they can get detailed a look at how to exactly do things, because sometimes I look at specific installation videos and they don't provide everything, but I will try my best to provide the entire process of what it takes, while trying my best to film everything. So yeah, this will be a different video, but I hope everyone enjoys, and if you need any help, please let me know, and I'll be free to comment and reply to any questions that you have. Now you can cue the cheesy background music. So we'll be popping this out, and then applying some suede upholstery. And then I'll also be doing a Starlight kit, so I'll be doing an installation video on that as well. But let's get started with the headliner removal. First thing you want to do is pop out this clip, so I'll twist the way and then it should come right out. There is a cover for this, a plastic cover, so you can just put a pry tool in it. Pop it out, and then just two Phillips. There is a connection here. All you have to do is pull it out a bit. Okay. So the plug for this was stuck essentially across the hole for me, so I had to pry it out a little bit. Prong clip right here. You just have to push this out, and then it'll allow you to unclip. So you can see that little edge on the left. So this is the driver's side sun visor. So exact same thing, just on opposite sides. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is remove the dome light assembly, and then I believe you can just keep this trim piece and sunglasses holder intact because it's only connected to the headliner itself. But for this trim right here with the passenger airbag light and the phone connector, I assume it would be connected to a plug, so we might have to remove this as well. Just get your pry tool in, and you can pop the entire thing out, and then it should be connected to a plug on the passenger side. Alright, there we go. The next thing we have to do, there's 4 clips in the back here. You can see 1, 2, 3, and then a 4th right there. So you're just gonna want to pry those out, and then we'll work on these B-pillars here. So I'll pop these out a bit, as well as the 8 pillars, so that we can actually take the headliner out. So headliner's finally out. Took some convincing and bending, and unfortunately breaking some trim pieces. I have this module right here, that phone and airbag. So it turns out you didn't need to remove it because it was just part of the wiring harness that would wrap around here. That's also connected to the wiring harness for the dome lights. So those are just taped on. You can see some tape marks right here. But you didn't need to take that out, and unfortunately I did snap them. I did snap a part of the trim piece here at the front while trying to take it out, and as you can see the clips here are also broken. So I'll have to look for possibly a new one of that one or a new housing. All you have to do is just really tug on it because there are 4 metal clips here that hold it in. So now that we have the headliner out, we do have to remove this lamp assembly component, as well as this I found out it's some sort of like Bluetooth microphone. But a lot of people usually do is that they'll just, so they're actually connected by these sort of metal rings. They become permanent, essentially permanent once you push them into place. There's 2 here, and then there's 2 on this side as well. 3 down here. I believe there were 2 here that I accidentally snapped off, which broke. I think there was also 1 on each side here, and then you have these 2 on top. For the ones down here, I'm just using a plastic clip pry tool, and you can usually slide your pry tool under enough and you can slowly wiggle it up. For these smaller ones, since they have a metal, they're connected to this metal frame, I'll try and use some sort of knife to actually bring them up and pry them off, but yeah. As you can see, we now have the lamp assembly out with the light cover, so we're going to be painting all these portions black, so we'll just set them off aside for now. And I snapped it. So this was the metal bracket holding both the lamp assembly as well as this thing, whatever this is. But I've broken off every single tab actually, so I'll have to get that replaced. Got the suede material here that I picked up, laid out, and what I'm going to first do is spray this 1/2 on both the headliner itself as well as the upholstery. I'll let it sit for like a minute or so, and then use that roller to apply it correctly to make sure that there's no folds or creases or anything. I will say that there is a crease in the material itself. You can see here the actual line where it was folded, but I don't really care too much since you won't really see it. So I've heard that you can iron it out. So I purchased some 3M headliner adhesive. I'll just be applying that. I just wanted to say a few things about applying this upholstery. First, it's a lot more difficult than it looks. I applied adhesive to both the upholstery and the headliner, and by the time I was finished doing that, the adhesive got fairly sticky, so I started trying to lay down the upholstery onto the headliner. But while I was doing that, because the upholstery itself is so thin, while laying it down, it would then fold on itself, and then there would be creases in the upholstery itself. So I found you actually needed 2 people to do it. So shout out to my mom. You can see here she actually helps me out by holding up the upholstery while I press it down. Other thing that I'll note is that I still did get a good amount of creases, I would say, considering this was my first time doing it, but it is what it is. I learned a few things and learned how to apply it better, but overall I'm fairly happy with the job, and yeah, just things to keep in mind when you start working on this. Alright, so I've finally got the upholstery on with the 3M adhesive that I used. I will say this is a lot more difficult than I expected it to be, and I needed 2 people, or required 2 people to do it. One holding up the upholstery while I slowly laid it down. From afar, it doesn't look too bad, but if you get close, you can definitely see the creases. Oh, you can see it right there, yeah. You see all those creases. So I had some creases down along this back arch and somewhere along this arch as well. As well as this region right here, where there's actually a hump to accommodate for the sun visor clip. I finally got all the holes done up. So I had the holes in here for the sun visors, as well as the lamp assembly and the microphone, passenger lights, and the clips down here, which you'll have to do as well. So there's 4 of them. I'm going to let it sit like this for at least another 24 hours, upside or with the upholstery right side up like this, just to make sure that it adheres and hopefully does not sag. Currently painting interior parts, so you got here the sun visors. I'm using Duplicolor's vinyl and fabric paint. See that right there. This is a matte finish, I believe, but don't quote me. 10 minutes per coat. Light coats, I think it's dry after about an hour or so. I've got the sunglass assembly right here, and what we're gonna do is that there's actually a spring right here. There you go. See the spring right there, and it has this little tiny edge on it that you can just pop out, and then you should be able to take this spring assembly out. Just comes right out. And then the tricky part is on the other side. So there's a few different components. So you have this gear right here, which is its own piece, and this thing will slide out. There we go. So it just comes out. It's just press fitted. So this piece is connected by this metal insert here, and it holds together the clip that is contained to hold this entire gear right here. So what you have to do is you have to pry this out first, and then from the inside, this region right here, you can use that to pop the clip out to remove this. This is simply just a clip right here, slides under. So you can see there. I did snap off all the clips of the Bluetooth telephone mic and airbag passenger light. I think on SolidWorks here you can see I actually created basically new mounting points that slide on top of the previous ones since they're snapped. This would go on the bottom portion, so you can see I have a slot in there, and then the peg just sticks out to attach to the new metal short frame. Similarly, this is the middle part, or the middle peg, and you can see there's an insert there as well. See, you can actually see this was probably the most intricate piece. Lastly, the top piece, which is similar to like the bottom. So I've already attached it, and unfortunately I didn't film it, but I hot glued all the clips that I essentially 3D printed. So I didn't reuse the old metal clips that were being utilized from before that I took off. I 3D printed basically just cylinders that would press fit onto the pegs, and then just hot glued them on to just make sure it stayed together. The 2 here, 2 in the middle, and then the 3 down here as well. I did, you can see. You can't see, but the 3D printed parts that I had developed are sitting under here. So at each of these points, as well as down there. And then again, similarly, I just put on some press fit cylinders and then hot glue them together so that it would stay. I reinforced all these edges here with more 3D print, because when I was working on it and like I would press down on these sections, this would flex a ton. So some of these points actually started bending through. You can see right here. It's hard to tell, but it actually snapped right here, the headliner itself. So again, did that all around, as well as on the back side, you can see there. So got the headliner in. Essentially what I started with, I slid in that side first from the back. So essentially this was the headliner here, turned it, slid it in this way, and then slid it into place. For some reason, I wasn't able to get the clips in. I kept pushing and pushing, it wasn't working. So what I first did is that I tucked the sides here of the headliner into the weather stripping on both sides. And then, since I obviously had these panels removed to try and get them out the way so that I could actually route that thing. I tucked it on that side, and then I tucked it into the A-pillars, so that driver's side B pillar and then the two A pillars were also, I tucked the headliner into it so that it would hold it up, and then it sort of adjusted itself into place once I put in the weather stripping so that I could actually clip those 4 clips that are on top of there. So it's a bit of an abrupt ending to the video, I know. Essentially the whole point was that I was actually just going to make the Starlight kit installation itself, but I decided I wanted to do the Suede headliner as its own video because I feel like not everyone's going to be doing the Starlight themselves, so it wouldn't be necessary to watch the entire video. So I'll add links with all the products that I used in the description for anything that I did purchase online. Other things like the fabric, this Suede I got, was purchased locally at one of these stores here in Toronto, so yeah. Also, if anyone has that Bluetooth phone, what is it, the Bluetooth telephone mic and passenger airbag light, if you have that trim piece and you break any of the parts and you'd like the CAD models as well, I can send them over. Or if anyone wants the clips that I use to actually hot glue the light assembly together, then I can give you those as well. Just hit me up on Instagram or something. Lastly, if you have any additional questions, you can ask me in the comments or just hit me a message and I'll be glad to help you out. But thank you all for watching.